So students, in our last class under chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants, we have learnt outbreeding devices. That is, plant makes some modifications to avoid self-pollination. Okay, so that plant will discourage self-pollination and it will encourage cross-pollination. That is what we have learnt in last class. So today we are going to learn next part of it, that is pollen pistil interaction. We are learning pollen pistil interaction today. A very big concept. Slowly we will learn. Some part of it already you have learned about compatible, non-compatible pollen, incompatible. So we are going to learn that. That is, pollen pistil interaction means pollen grain when it falls on stigma. Stigma is a part of pistil, you know. This is what we are talking about. This. Suppose this is a stigma. This is a pistil. This is a pistil. So if you remember, this is, suppose there is a protein here and it contains 8 cells here. Okay, so this is a picture which we are going to learn today, where what happens here, there will be pollen grains. And so pollen grains are different color, or you understand these are pollen grains. Many pollen grains will fall on the stigma. Then some pollen grains will produce pollen tube. Okay. Some pollen grains will produce pollen tube. Then the pollen tube will grow. It will grow in length as it will enter the egg. It will enter the egg sac. So now what we are going to learn is between pollen grain and a pistil. This is the entire part is pistil. Pistil is also called gynoecium, female reproductive part. What is the interaction? In textbook beautifully they have given that it's a dialogue between pollen grain and pistil. Dialogue means some interaction happens. What is that interaction we are going to learn? That means when pollen grains are transferred to stigma, then stigma decides whether it should support this pollen grain or it should reject that pollen grain. That means stigma decides whether the pollen grain should be accepted or rejected. So let us see what is that mechanism slowly, one by one. So there are actually two types of pollen grains which is recognized by the pistil. One is already you have learned right type of pollen. The right type of pollen grain are also called as compatible pollen grain. What is the right type of pollen grain means? This type of pollen grain, stigma or pistil will accept it. What is that right type of pollen grain means? Pollen grains of different plants. Okay, pollen of different plants of a same species, like rose on rose. The pollen grains of rose on pollen grains of stigma of rose only. So same species, not that jackfruit on mango. That is different species. Pollen of different plant, but pollen grain should not be from same flower. That is the wrong type of pollen grain. So right type of pollen grain is pollen grains of different flower or pollen grains of different plant but same species. Like rose pollen grains on rose stigma. Okay, that is called the right type of pollen grain. Then, what is the wrong type of pollen grain? Wrong type of pollen grain, or we can also call incompatible. Compatible means matching, incompatible means mismatch. Incompatible pollen grain. So what they are saying is stigma will accept, it will accept right type of pollen grain. Okay. But stigma will reject wrong type of pollen grain. What is wrong type of pollen grain? Already we have learned in the last class. The wrong type of pollen grain is pollen of different species. Pollen grains of different species of plant. Like if jackfruit pollen grains falls on mango stigma, then germination doesn't happen. Then one more is the wrong type of pollen grain, very important. Pollen grains of the same flower. Self pollination should not occur, because if self pollination occurs, it leads to inbreeding depletion. So plant wants to avoid it. So, and second type is pollen of same flower. Pollen grains of different species of plants and pollen grains of same flower, stigma or pistil will reject it. Stigma is a part of pistil, because pistil means it will have three parts. So one is ovary, second part is style, and this is stigma. So what they are saying, pollen pistil interaction means when pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma, once pollen grain comes on stigma, lands on stigma, then stigma has the ability to identify the pollen grain. So stigma will first identify the pollen grain, whether it is right type of pollen grain or wrong type of pollen grain. If it is a right type of pollen grain, then stigma will support that pollen grain. How it supports? Stigma produces a chemical, and that chemical is required for germination of pollen grain. Pollen grain will germinate and produce a pollen tube. If pollen tube is produced, that means stigma has supported the pollen grain. So the pollen grain is producing a pollen tube. If stigma identifies that it is a wrong type of pollen grain, that's just explaining about if stigma receives pollen grains of different species or pollen grains of the same flower, the stigma will reject that type of pollen grain. How it rejects? Rejection means it will not support the pollen grain to produce pollen tube. How it will not support? Stigma doesn't produce a chemical. You remember that chemical is a food for pollen grain to produce a pollen tube. Without that chemical, okay, I can show you here with different colors. Suppose the stigma produces one type of chemical here. See, I am writing it as a chemical. Okay, that is called stigmatic exudate. That word is not there in the book. Just I am telling you, exudation means release. Stigma releases some chemical, and that chemical is required for growth of pollen grain and germination of pollen grain. Germination means pollen will produce a pollen tube. I repeat once again. Okay, so what they are saying, pollen pistil interaction is pollen grain should be accepted or rejected will be dependent on stigma, because stigma has the capacity to identify the pollen grain, whether pollen grain is right type or wrong type. So if stigma identifies that it is a right type of pollen grain, what is the right type of pollen grain? Pollen grains of different species of different plants but same species. Because plant avoids self pollination. Plant wants cross pollination. So one plant requires pollen grains of different flower or different plant. Okay, so pollen grains of different plant but same species it will accept. Then so stigma identified that this is a right type of pollen grain because this is a pollen grain of different plant, it has come from flowers of different plant, so it will accept that it is a right type of pollen grain. Then once it accepts it is a right type of pollen grain, then stigma supports the pollen grain to produce pollen tube. How it supports? By producing a chemical, what I am showing in pink color here. Stigma produces a chemical, that chemical will help the pollen grain to produce pollen tube. Okay, so producing pollen tube is called pollen germination. So stigma helps pollen grain to germinate only when pollen grain is a right type. If suppose stigma identifies that pollen grain is a wrong type of pollen grain, that which is wrong type, pollen grains of different species or pollen grains of the same flower, if it falls on the stigma, then stigma will reject that type of pollen grain. How it rejects? It doesn't produce a chemical. Without that chemical, pollen grain cannot germinate. Pollen grain cannot produce pollen tube. Without producing pollen tube will get destroyed because every pollen grain has its own viability. Viability means survival ability. After that time, pollen grain will die. Then no pollen tube production. So that type of pollen grain will not be supported because it's a wrong type of pollen grain. So then you may ask how stigma has this ability to identify whether it is wrong or right. That's a genetic mechanism. The genes present in the stigma, okay, has the ability to identify which is right type of pollen grain, which is wrong type of pollen grain. So this interaction, what we say, the interaction between pollen grain and the stigma, that is what we call pollen crystal interaction. Pollen crystal interaction. So in textbook they have beautifully given. It's a continuous dialogue between pollen grain and the pistil. Dialogue means here not no talking, not that kind of dialogue. Continuous interaction is there between pollen grain and stigma. Once stigma identifies it is the right type of pollen grain, then it will support the pollen grain. Then what happens? Pollen grain will produce pollen tube, and the pollen tube starts growing in the style. Pollen grain becomes longer, okay, elongate. Slowly it comes downwards and enters. This is the ovary. The ovary contains ovule, and inside the ovule there is embryo sac. So here the three antipodal cells are there, two polar nuclei, one egg and two synergids. So slowly pollen tube will enter the embryo sac through micropyle. You know this. Then what happens? That we have to see. What happens then next? Let us see. Let us see what happens next. So once pollen grain produce the pollen tube, is a pollen grain. The outer wall of pollen grain is called enzyme, and inner smooth layer is called enzyme. No, then when pollen grain produces pollen tube, it produces pollen tube like this. Here one opening will be there, that is called germ pores. Here and there the opening is called germ pores. Name only says required for germination. So the tube comes out through that hole only opening. Here the tube comes out through that opening. So like that the pollen tube is produced. Pollen tube will come out of germ pore. Reason is outer wall is very tough, containing toughest chemical called sporopollenin, but that sporopollenin is not present wherever these holes are there or germ pores are there. So through this germ pores, pollen tube will come out. Then what happens to these two nuclei is interesting now. Once pollen grain produces the pollen tube, what happens to these two nuclei? This nuclei is vegetative nucleus, and this nucleus is generative nucleus. Now what happens we should see. Okay, in case of two cell stage is already we have learned that 60% of the plants release pollen grains in two cell stage, where pollen grain will have two cells, one vegetative cell, one more generative cell. Remaining 40% of the cells, remaining 40% of the angiospermic plants, flowering plants, release pollen grains in three-cell stage. What happens next once pollen grain produces pollen tube? What happens? What happens to these nuclei? These two nuclei will enter. These two nuclei will enter here. I can show you these two nuclei will enter. Yes, I will show you. This is this generating nuclei. This is vegetative nuclei. Okay, so this is generative. This is vegetative. Once this pollen tube is produced here, what happens? Again, this generative nuclei, what is that? Again, that will divide into two. Like this. Let us see. This generative nuclei will divide into two nuclei. So these two nuclei are nothing but male gametes. These are male gametes. I told you, pollen grain is a male gametophyte because gametophyte means it's a gamete containing structure. So here pollen grain is a male gametophyte because pollen grain contains these two nuclei, and generative nuclei what was there here, that will again divide into two nuclei. Okay, so that is what we call male gametes, or sometimes we will also call sperms. Sperms. So these are the male gametes. Because these two nuclei are present in the pollen grain, so it is called male gametophyte, but not male gamete. Pollen grain is not a male gamete. I told you so many times. It's a male gametophyte. So now, once stigma identifies that pollen grain is a right type of pollen grain, then stigma produces a chemical. That chemical supports the pollen grain to produce pollen tube. So pollen grain will undergo germination and pollen grain produces pollen tube. Then whatever two nuclei were there, vegetative nuclei and generative nuclei, the generative nuclei will divide into two nuclei. That is called male gametes. Okay. That is if it is a two-cell stage. If it is a three-cell stage, already pollen grain has divided into, it has again divided into two here. So these are male gametes. If it is a three-cell stage, already these two cells and this cell generative cell was already divided into two cells. So these two are male gametes. Remember, vegetative nucleus is not a male gamete. Vegetative nucleus is just a nucleus. Generative nucleus, what was there here in the small cell of pollen grain, that will again divide into two. Those two, this blue color two are male gametes. Okay, now what happens to these male gametes? We have to see. Now pollen grain containing these two will come here. Then what happens? Only this part I will highlight and show you now. Okay. And then this chalk dust. Okay. So I will show you what exactly happens here. So here there is a synergid and there is a egg here in this egg. This is a lower side. I am drawing this part. This part I am drawing. What exactly happens with it? Let us see. So the central one, what is there is egg, and these two cells next to egg is called synergids. And in the synergids, there will be finger-like structures. Finger-like structures are called piliform apparatus. Already you know this. Okay, it will be this. This is what we call finger-like structure called piliform apparatus. Filiform apparatus. Name only the fili means finger-like structure. we are discussing about this pollen grain which produce the pollen tube. Then it will elongate, the pollen tube becomes longer and tries to enter egg for fertilization, double fertilization, triple fusion. So what we have to learn is, suppose this is a pollen tube now. This is a pollen tube. Now pollen tube contain two male gametes. Then one vegetative nucleus. So remember, this is what we have learned. These two are male gametes. And this is one vegetative nucleus. Okay, what happened? You need just recall. Pollen grain came and landed on stigma. The stigma produced a chemical, and that chemical helped the pollen grain to produce pollen tube. Then what happened in the pollen grain? Two cells were there, one vegetative and generative. This is vegetative, this is generative. Okay, so this is vegetative nucleus, generative nucleus. What I am showing here. So this is vegetative nucleus, this is generative. Later what happens? Two cells are there, so this pollen grain is called two-cell stage. And in this case, this nucleus, what is that? The blue color, generative, that will divide into two nuclei. The same two you can see here. Because this only will produce a pollen tube, and these two will enter there. And this one, and this vegetative will be here. Same thing I am showing here, you can see. Okay, same thing what I am showing here, and I am showing. So, now what happens? This one, first pollen tube has to enter filiform apparatus. First this pollen tube has to enter filiform apparatus. Directly there is no entry into egg. Because filiform apparatus is a finger-like structure, I am showing in yellow color, that facilitates fertilization or facilitates entry of pollen tube. First the pollen tube will enter filiform apparatus present in the synergid. Then from there it will enter synergid cells. Then it will enter the egg. Okay. Then this nuclei, what was there? That will be here. And this nuclei will come here. Because it will elongate. It will be longer. Then what happens? Double fertilization, triple fusion. Already you have learned in first year. That's why they have not continued this. They have left it here. Okay. So what is the function of this filiform apparatus? Filiform apparatus helps pollen tube to enter the filiform apparatus, and then it goes to synergid. Then the pollen tube will enter egg. Not direct entry, it is sideways. First pollen tube directly doesn't meet egg. It goes to filiform apparatus, then from there it goes to synergid, then it comes to egg. So, function of filiform apparatus is it will facilitate or it will help pollen tube to meet the egg. Even synergid function is they help pollen tube to meet the egg. Okay, then double fertilization, triple fusion happens. You know that first this nucleus will find the egg, first fertilization, then this will meet two polar nuclei present here, these two. Okay, then these two polar nuclei will combine and become one two-end structure, that is called the secondary nucleus. And the secondary nucleus will get one more here, this will bind them and becomes 3N. It goes on. Already first year we have learned it. So in next class we will continue this process. So this is what we call pollen pistil interaction. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Today I have recorded in mobile because again camera is not working. That too without mic, you can see I am not wearing any mic here. So maximum effort is there from my side, so you have to appreciate it. Okay. Even though camera is not available, I am recording only for the students. So if students don't appreciate the lecturer, then who will appreciate? Okay. So you should think, I am only thinking about the students, not about other things. Okay, if I am giving lot of respect to you, then you should give lot of respect to all the lecturers. Not only to me, all the lecturers. Okay, so keep watching my classes. Thank you.